all doing well. I have another holiday themed project for you, and I'm going to show you how I make these cute little watercolor gifts. And I kind of do little different patterns on the wrapping, and they look like this. And I'm going to walk you through an easy tutorial so that you can make your own at home. If this is the kind of video that you like to watch, please give me a like or subscribe to let me know that I should be making more of these, because there's a few more weeks until the holidays are here, so plenty more time to share some of these kinds of videos. So just let me know, and now we'll get right into the tutorial. So I'm going to start here. I've used this kind of ochre color to do a first kind of rectangular gift, and I think what I usually like to do is choose either side to put a bit more color, or at least make sure that my entire rectangle or cube, whatever the shape is, doesn't have just one color, or one shade, I should say. So I like having kind of that little peak here of another color. So I think I'm going to let this dry, and then I am going to move on to kind of a pink color. And I think for this one I'm going to do more of like an open kind of gift with a big bow. I've actually been enjoying painting big bows. I think they're very festive. Oh, here, I'll move you a little bit. That's better. I really enjoy kind of oversized, almost unrealistically big bows on gifts. I think that really adds quite a little bit of festive. And I'm filming this as the holidays are kind of approaching. So of course you could use these for a variety of projects if you're making greeting cards for the holidays, but actually if you like to make thank you cards, this is kind of a method, of course, that can kind of live on all year round. But I thought this is a perfect time to practice for it. So here we go. This is kind of a peachy, kind of corally color. So that would be the bottom part of my gift, and then I will do, let's see, I didn't actually give myself that much space for a big bow, so maybe it won't be that large, but give myself just a bit of room here, and this would be kind of the top part of the box, the gift box right here. I think that should probably be a little bit longer right here. I don't know if you feel similarly, but I really like this time of year, so I'm filming this as we're fast approaching November, and this is one of my favorite times of year. I think it's cozy, it's not too cold yet, at least where I live here in Canada, but I also find that it's a period full of a multiple of expectations to do all the things, to participate in all the fall kind of activities that are often kind of short-lived, an expectation to do things a certain way, maybe for the holidays, and I'm trying to release myself from most of those expectations. And I find that this was actually not for me in the plans today to take some time and film this video and kind of chat with you. I have other things, to be honest, that are on my to-do list, but I thought that this was a nice way to consciously unplug for a little bit. Although I guess I am talking to you on camera, but unplug in a sense, put away the emails and all the other worky bits I could be doing, and just kind of let my imagination play. So I quite like that. I think I'm going to try to do maybe a gray box. I quite like playing with gray and kind of these more pastel-y tones. I think that always looks quite nice. So let me see here. I'll add that in. And I guess I should ask you, do you make homemade greeting cards? If you're watching this video, do you like kind of just seeing the process, or do you yourself at home like to take some time and make homemade greeting cards? I find that greeting cards, I make a lot of them for work, but they are so readily available that sometimes we stop making them because we can buy them so easily. But actually, if you take a little bit of time to make your own greeting cards, first of all, what gift is there that's better than someone who's taken time out of their day to make a homemade greeting card for you? I can't think of many things that are better than that. And also there's something really satisfying, I think, to making a piece of art that kind of goes to a good place, to someone who's going to read a message that hopefully will make them smile or make them feel like someone's thought about them. There's not much that's better than that. So this gift is a little close to my one underneath, but that's okay. I think I'll maybe add a little bit of extra gray color on one side, give it a bit more dimension. So I always like this method if I'm making more than one gift, is I kind of get all of my gifts with my different colors done first, so that they kind of have a bit of a chance to dry as I move along to make the next one, and then I can go back to that first one I painted and play around with kind of bows and ribbon and that sort of thing. So I think for my last one I might play around with a burgundy here, see what that looks like. You're doing long and narrow gift for this one. There we go. And as I said, this is really just playing around in my sketchbook, trying to release any kind of pressure or tension to be doing things a certain way, but just kind of playing around and seeing where it takes me. And sometimes I found some of my best designs by doing this, kind of letting yourself go, picking a theme, and then kind of seeing, oh, here we go. Move that down a little bit for you, and kind of seeing where it takes me. So here we go. Oh, and I should say, I've been planning quite a lot of holiday content actually, that will be kind of pouring out on this channel in the next little while. So if that's something that you enjoy, please give me a like and let me know so that I know to make more of these, but also hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see those videos as they kind of pop up. Okay, so let's see, I'm touching here, it's just about dry. I think I probably make a couple more gifts. Let's see, I think I might make a yellow one. If you follow this channel and have seen a lot of my videos, you will know that yellow is usually a color that I quite favor, regardless of time of year. There's something just so cheery about a pop of yellow, and it goes with so many other colors quite easily. I almost think of it as a neutral. Here we go. And I find that it's maybe not the most expected holiday color if it's holiday that you're painting for, but actually, once we kind of dress it up, I think you'll find that it's actually quite a nice color for this time of year. So here we go, nice big box here. I'm going to take just a little bit of the paint out from the center, like so. Okay, I think for a little study, that's probably pretty good. I obviously still have some room on the page, but I think I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to move to, okay, oh yes, I was using just a number 6, I believe. My goodness, this paintbrush is so used now that I don't think it says the number anymore, but I'm fairly certain it's a size 6, and I'm just going to move to a smaller paintbrush so that I can do some of the ribbon work. And I think what I might do is start with a black ribbon for the first kind of ochre gift that I did here. So I'm going to try not to get any paint on myself from the ones that are not dry. So I might move you a little bit this way. And of course you could wait till it's completely dry and use a pencil to make your lines. But usually I actually quite like the look of something that's not perfectly straight. So, you know, it's up to you. It depends on, oh, I have a hair here on this paintbrush. That's another thing. I have a cat who likes to roam and kind of look at my art supplies sometimes. And if I'm there when he does it, I kind of take a look at what he's doing and make sure that nothing gets dirty with cat hair. But it does happen. He's quite a friendly cat, and it does happen that some of his hair gets onto some of my things, and that's what was on this paintbrush right here. But it's okay, the things we do for our pets, it's just a small one of many. I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, so I'm just kind of doing kind of a ribbony shape and kind of following the same method. I'm not worrying too much about like perfect perspective or anything like that, but I am trying to make some pieces of the ribbon a little bit darker and some pieces a little bit lighter. I don't know if you can see that. I did smudge a little bit here. Let me see if I can fix that. Let's see. I'm going to try doing that with a little bit of paper. So I'm just going to wet my paper towel here and try to recuperate that line if I can. And you can usually do this while your paint is still wet is the best time. So I'm going to do this and then I'll let it dry again and get back into it a little bit after, but I think that should do it. So I just took a little bit of wet paper towel and did it. So I think what I might do is, I think I will do all these gifts using kind of the same black ribbon to tie all of these together. So they all have kind of their different colors, but I'm imagining someone had one kind of spool of maybe velvety black ribbon that they decided to use to wrap all of their gifts. I actually really like wrapping gifts. Let me know if you do, but for me it's something quite therapeutic. I really like just sitting down with a good mug of hot chocolate. Cardamom hot chocolate is my favorite. If you've never tried it, I highly recommend it. And that really just means making, your regular hot chocolate, but adding some ground cardamom to the mix. I find that it kind of undercuts the sweetness a little bit, or cuts the sweetness rather, and it's really my favorite. So I will sit down with a hot cup of cardamom hot chocolate in wrapped gifts, and I think it's really up there in kind of the relaxing moments of the holidays that you do have to take, because I find that if you don't set aside time for those relaxing moments, at least in my case, with a young family, with young kids and a lot to do, if you don't purposely take those moments, they don't just come to you that easily. So there, I just did a little ribbon on top, kind of that oversized ribbon I was telling you about. I think that looks pretty nice and festive. Let's see, I'll try to do maybe this one now, this khaki one here. Let me move you a little bit. I didn't have access to my office for a little while because we were doing some work, so everything is slowly regaining its place, but I'm not completely there, so I've been kind of reorganizing as best I can. Okay, so done a ribbon here, and I think I'll do, why don't we try doing a bow on the kind of inside for this one. So maybe, let's see, right here like this, and have it go kind of out like so. I think that looks nice. Maybe for this one we'll do a ribbon. It's kind of off kilter, so maybe like this. You know how sometimes you can wrap your gifts and they look really nice if the ribbon is not perfectly centered, so you can try that. So as you see, I'm getting a tiny bit of a fuzzy line on that one. That's okay, I think I can rework it to kind of get it a little bit less fuzzy, but the reason why you're getting that fuzzy line, if you're wondering, is because I'm impatient, and my gray square here was not completely dry. And so when I put the second color on top, it gets kind of that fuzzy kind of edge. So if you don't like that, or if you're wondering why that is, it's just a question of giving it a little bit of extra time. I'm going to make this a tiny bit thicker here. I think that looks pretty nice. And here, you know what I'll do? I'll try to make this a tiny bit thicker here as well to catch that line back. Here we go. I think that looks nice. I have two more to do. Let's see. Oh, actually, let me just fix this just a little bit here. And I hope you can paint along with me. This is kind of the point of these kind of videos. I hope that you can take, 15 minutes out of your day, take out a piece of nice watercolor paper. Oh my goodness, another piece of cat hair here. There we go. And, just take some time out of your day, some time for yourself, just 15 minutes, and paint some kind of homemade gifts, each with their own kind of personality is what I'm going for. I find that if I've had a bit of a stressful day, or one of those days where you don't really know where the time went, at least you have those 15 minutes accounted for and something to show for it in the end. So I hope that you can take that time with me. And if you're starting this video and you don't have time to do that, just save it, and next time that you can put those 15 minutes in your calendar just for yourself, even if it's on your lunch break or what have you, I hope that you can kind of utilize that as a way to just play. So I'll do the ribbon, I think, on an angle, kind of like this. There we go. Kind of like using that one same color for all the ribbons. You obviously don't have to use black, you could use something else, but I think kind of makes it all kind of unified in the end. So if you were making a card or, a a print or something, a piece of artwork you would like to donate for someone to maybe frame or something like that, having that unifying factor is kind of nice to bring everything together. Okay, so here we go, and then I'll do the last one. Let's see. Here we go. I think for this one I'll do a big bow in the center. Put more water here, like so. And you'll see the more you do this, the more you'll kind of get a steady hand if you might not have one at first. And as I said, if you look closely, my lines are not actually perfectly straight, and that is totally okay. It's not meant to be. But if you do it more often, you kind of get into the practice of it, and it looks, you know, fairly straight, which is all you really want for this look. There we go. Maybe let's do one last bow, like so. One here, and one here, like so. There we are. So now let me see if I can go back to this first gift and just fix it a little bit, since I think it's probably dried. I think that should be okay. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, was I not patient? Are you like me? Are you very patient? I know a lot of people who do watercolor are very patient. You'll see it in the tutorials. I am not the patient type. I'm not gonna lie and fool you. I am 100% not the patient type. I try. I know there's great virtue to it, but I'm not. So I'm often finding kind of tips and tricks to mess with time, speed it up when I need to. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I think what I'll do is start to kind of decorate the side, the paper of some of my gifts. And I think what I'll do, I had pulled out some gold paint that I wanted to use, and actually I have a video where I talk all about gold paint, so if you're interested, please look at that video. I'll put the I'll put the info in the description box if you're interested, because I think that not all golds are created equal when it comes to watercolor. And if you want to do kind of a watercolor, like a gold color on top of your designs, you need a certain kind of gold that's nice and opaque and has the right opacity. Oh my goodness, it's totally, I did not see that. 1 second. And I hope you appreciate the realness of these videos. I'm not fooling you. I'm showing you all my kind of blunders. Oh my goodness. It's okay. I'll have to pick that up when it dries a little bit. I think I must have spluttered just a little bit here. Let me see if I can recuperate this while I talk to you. And that happens, you know what? And that's okay. That's why we do things in our sketchbook. And if I was doing this for an actual piece of work, I would actually force myself into patient behavior, which I did not do today. And this one is a little bit harder to recuperate here, so I'm just gonna have to live with that paint trauma. That's okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave that like so, and then I'll fix it as best I can later on. Okay, so I have taken some gold here. This one here, actually, from this palette, the Kuretake palette. I'll put all the information down below. And I think I'll start with this gray here. I think the gray and the gold will look nice. And I'm just gonna do some little dots. So they don't all have to be the same size. I'm kind of going for a whimsical effect here. And if you find that your hand is not very steady, I know sometimes I've had comments where people tell me that, what I like to do is kind of hold my hand with my other hand. So that's a trick that you can do if you find that you're not very steady. But as I said, we're kind of looking for something far from perfect on purpose here. So some dots are bigger, some are smaller, some are rounder, some are not. And that's totally the style that we're going for. So don't sweat it. Just try to see that you have kind of an even distribution of dots. That's the only thing. And I think that looks pretty nice. Okay, so now maybe let's see. I'm going to take another color. So this is kind of the game here, is to see what colors might look nice on top. So I think I might do a deep burgundy on top of my yellow. That's what's calling to me. So let me move you a little bit here. And I think for this one, I might do some little kind of diagonal lines. So if you're using a thinner paintbrush, that really does make it easier. It doesn't have to be perfect. And the other thing I find is that kind of doing it in one fail kind of swoop, if you can, without stopping, actually makes it easier. Even if the line's not perfect, you kind of have a better chance at making those lines look kind of as parallel as you can. There we go. Do this one here, a little bit tricky when you go behind the bow, especially because I didn't wait for it to completely dry, but I think that looks pretty good. Would go like here, maybe one more line here, one more here, and one more here. Okay, I think there's one of those lines that I'm not 100% happy with, and the reason is that also you don't see this, it's a little behind the scenes, but here on this side I have a stack of books that are holding up the camera that are actually acting against me because my hand is pushing against them as I paint. But anyways, I digress. It's not interesting for you, for any of you at home. Okay, so now I'm going to move on. Let's see. I think I might try a gray on top of my pinky color here, and see how that looks. There we go. And I think for this one I'm going to do tiny dots, very small ones, very tiny dots. So I'm using the same size paintbrush, but I'm just pressing down ever so slightly, and I'm holding my wrist down a little bit as I showed you before, and I find that that really helps be a little bit steadier here, like so. Okay, I think that looks nice. Let me just take a little bit more gray on top of my paintbrush. Why do I want to say pencil? I'm not even using a pencil today. Here we go. This is a little bit too thick. Let me just, there we go, that should be better. I think the only trick here is kind of distribution, because if you're going a little bit faster, like so, you kind of have to look at your whole gift box, your whole wrapped gift, as you're doing it, just to make sure that there's, you know, kind of an even distribution of dots. There we go. Oh, and I should not forget the lid. Let me grab a little bit more color here. There we go. Here's my lid. There we are. And this, you could obviously just paint these. Once you're happy with your designs, you could paint these on a greeting card and write a festive message or just a thank you message, or just have it as is. Sometimes a blank card is nice. I think we don't always have to pre-write a message, but this is just a fun way to practice with it. So now I think I'm going to go in for a darker green. Let's see. I think I will do this one here. And imagine maybe some mini Christmas trees. There we go. Actually, one of my favorite things to do is make kind of handmade stamps. You can do those if you look it up. You can do kind of handmade stamps with a lot of different things, but doing it with a half potato is a good way to do it for simple shapes. So you can look up, I'm sure YouTube has a lot of tutorials that will show you how to do that. But if you just take some simple craft paper, which is, you know, the most inexpensive paper generally that you can buy for wrapping paper. It's nice and neutral and easy to wrap with. And you take that potato, most people have a potato at home, so it's not a big investment. And then you kind of carve it into that shape, even if it's just a circle, to make a stamp. And then you can stamp your craft paper after you've wrapped it or before. And it usually makes a really nice design. So if you're interested in doing something a bit more homemade with your gift wrap this year, I like doing that. And then I usually take a little sprig from my Christmas tree, because I generally have a fresh Christmas tree, and I'll take a little sprig and tie that behind my ribbon, or secure it behind my ribbon, and it smells incredibly nice if you get one of those trees that's fragrant and also just looks very pretty. So there we go, the little triangles here. And let's see, what else can I do? Maybe I can do a little scalloped line. I like a little scalloped line. So let's see, maybe I can try this ochre without too much water and see if that looks good over the burgundy, if you can kind of read it. So let's see. Load up my brush and let's see how I do here. Just a simple little scalloped line, like so. What I would like, if you're taking a look at this entire video, is for you to tell me which is your favorite design, or if there's something you wish I would have tried that I didn't, let me know. So this is actually a little bit tricky to do with the bow here. So I'm probably doing this a tiny bit fast, but that's okay, because you also want this line to look natural. So as I say, if you kind of stop too many times, it's hard to make it look natural. And I do want to make this look kind of homemade and organic, so I'm just going with it. Here we go. All right, I'm going to move on to my last one. And I wonder if I'm not going to take another gold for this one. And play around with that. So I do need to fix this. Let me try. I think I might be playing the bad patience game again because I'm not sure it's 100% dry. But let's live dangerously and I will try. Oh, actually, it's okay. There we go. There's an expression in French. I'm from France, so excuse me if sometimes I use some French expressions, but there's an expression in French that says ni vu ni connu. It means not seen, not known. There might be an equivalent for that in English, but basically it just means disappeared. No one would have known it was there. Okay, so I'm going to take a bit more gold here. Let's see. And what would I like to do for this last one? Let me think. I think I'm going to do some stripes, like so. And the gold actually is very nice. This gold has a nice opacity, as I said, and it really works on any color. So it's a nice unifying factor too. You could do this same kind of exercise and have every motif that you do on top of your gifts have this nice gold color, and that would work really nicely. And then you don't have to worry so much about the colors you're using and if they go well together, because if you have a unifying factor like the black ribbon and the gold, it makes it a lot easier to tie all of it together. So it kind of takes the guessing game, takes the guesswork out of it. There we go. So I will let this dry for a second, and then maybe I can just fix it like that. Yeah, there we go. Got a little bit of gold on my ribbon, and I think that's it. Oh, actually, maybe you know what? Before I leave you, I'm going to do it here too, because there's a little bit of my color here. There we go. So you can always go back. That's a nice thing about it too. There we are. So I think we're done. So please let me know which one you like the best. I think I'm quite partial to this one right here. I quite like it. Oh, here, and this one right here. But let me know which one you like the best. And if you do make this, please let me know please show me your creations. I would love to take a look, and consider subscribing for more videos like this one. I'll see you for the next one.